Your financial needs aren't independent of each other, so your financial advisors shouldn't be either. At Mercantile Bank, our experienced United Wealth professionals are united to serve you and your complete financial planning and wealth management needs. Are you just starting your investment journey or need to roll over a retirement plan? Do you need to plan for a loved one with special needs or for your own life after work? Maybe your business needs a succession plan or you want to enhance your employee benefit programs. Whatever steps you need to take, our United Wealth experts are ready to take them with you. Together, we are united.
Hi, this is Ryan Kinscherf. Welcome to the Business Spotlight, brought to you by Mercantile Bank. We have Ryan Melton with Right Rate Roofing joining us today. Thanks for coming over, bud.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so how do you get started running a roofing business?
So I'm originally from Quincy, Illinois.
Right.
I did roofing and concrete and miscellaneous construction, more so on the side. And at that time, I was kind of left with a crossroad of following this other company and going through a management training program with them, or doing our own business and continuing that and growing the construction side. When I was 18 years old, I felt like the more stable route was going with an already structured company. I moved with that company between Illinois and Iowa for about 12 years. They went through a restructuring, which led to me deciding to do our own thing. I worked for a storm restoration company very briefly, and then we started our own company in Iowa. We were a general contractor for large loss storm claims, and that business was good. We helped people with trees in the house, and maybe a tornado hit the house, large hailstorms, but it just wasn't fulfilling. And I told my wife, I think that there is a lot of deception in the roofing industry, and I think that if we create transparency through education, that we'd have more people to contact us and we knew what to do with. And so we started that education process on our Facebook page, and that led to me sharing those posts on my personal page, and people in this area, being that we're originally from Quincy, started asking us to come back to this area.
So were you up in Iowa at that time?
We were up in Iowa at that time, and then that was in 2021. And we had a cousin of mine in Colchester just wasn't feeling comfortable with some of the other people that he had contacted and asked us for help. So we came down, we did their roof, we did some of their neighbors' roofs, and then it just kind of snowballed to other friends and family. And I asked my wife, I said, hey, I wasn't really intending on coming down here. We have a business started up there that was going fine, but I'd like to come back home because we were up here for another company that we don't work for anymore. So we moved back in 2022. I was hoping to do around like 20 to 30 roof replacements in 2022, and then I would just do stuff on the side like door replacements, window replacements, stuff like that. And we ended up doing 76 roof replacements, which was really good. And then last year we had some storms in Hannibal and some in Quincy, and we did 150. And now we're looking at approximately 200 roofs this year to do replacements on.
So you've been around 3 years basically with Right Rate Roofing?
Yep, so this is our third season in this area, and it'd be our fourth season as a company.
So you mentioned that honesty is a big part of why you got into the roofing side of things, right? You felt like that other roofing companies may not have been completely honest?
I can't even say that necessarily even roofing companies. That might be part of it, and I'm not necessarily pointing out anybody here. I'm saying in the industry, it's very common now that it's insurance driven. So what's happened is contractors will go through, knock on people's doors, whether they have hail damage or not, say, hey, you got hail damage, file an insurance claim. And through that process, it creates a numerous amounts of issues, from relationships with the insurance companies, from contractor to the customer. They're there just for the money, and they're not there to service that roof specifically for what it needs. We could do several interviews to talk about all the stuff that happens in an insurance situation. And I said, well, if we just educate people about just the roofing side, we don't have to get into the insurance side. We can help with that. But if we just focus on that and get back to just being good contractors, I think people would appreciate that. And if they did have an insurance claim, we'd be glad to help them with that too. But that's not where we're going to start.
Right. So what should people be looking at then? I mean, it sounds like there's multiple things that could be going on with your roof. Am I right there?
In terms of selecting the correct contractor?
In terms of whether you need help from a contractor for your roof. Because my thing is, I'm not getting up on my roof.
Yep.
Because first of all, I don't know what I'm looking at. Secondly, I'm scared of heights. So it's hard for me to know when I would need someone like you to come along.
Yeah, so I would just be an aware person. If you see that there's some other work happening in your neighborhood, maybe that's or you had a recent hailstorm and you're just wanting to get it checked out, calling a local roofer and having them come out and take a look at it. I use the term local there because the industry of door knocking, there might be some of those companies out there that are good, but 90% of them are not.
Oh, really?
And,
okay. And they're national, they're not local? Or regional?
It's possible to have somebody like that that's local, but that I know of the people in the area that we're servicing, we do not have a local storming, door knocking company.
Okay.
So I feel like in terms of getting a good opinion, I would definitely start with local and go from there.
So okay. Does it matter the materials? The answer, I think, is obviously yes. But from roofer to roofer to roofer, is there a wide variety of materials that you guys can choose from?
Yeah, so oftentimes what customers get caught up on is the things that they can see. And the thing that you can see on a roof is shingles.
Shingles, right.
Right? So people ask, well, what shingle do you use? And they educate themselves about that component. When we meet with people, I tell people that I could take the worst shingle installed per manufacturer instructions and per code and make it last longer than the best shingle not installed to manufacturer instructions or code.
So what's the difference? Okay, what's the code then? I mean,
so there's several different aspects to code.
Okay.
For example, we talk a lot about ice and water and ventilation.
Okay.
So ventilation is not something that gets addressed a lot in a roof system, but it can lead, inappropriate ventilation can lead to condensation in your attic space, create mold. It could cause your decking to go bad prematurely, so the next time you get a roof replacement, you have additional costs with that. It can cause ice damming. So you
ice
could have
damming, not damage.
Ice damming. So, and the damage caused by ice damming is the water. So how ice damming works is heat from your home gets through your insulation. Doesn't matter how much insulation you have, it can happen. And let's say that this past season was a really good example of this. So we had that like 10-inch, 8 to 10-inch snow, and then it dropped down to negative temperatures there in January.
Right, yeah.
So heat from your home rises up, and it gets into your attic space. It heats the decking. It melts that snow, and then it comes down to your eaves. Well, your eaves don't have heat underneath of them, right? Or these
Right.
big long porches. So it refreezes in that point. It's negative degrees outside. More snow melts. It creates more ice buildup. More snow melts. It hits that ice, and it backs up underneath your shingles. It can cause drywall damage, decking damage, fascia damage, gutter damage as a result of that. So how you fix and prevent ice damming is two-parted. Insulation, you know, keep the heat inside the home as much as you can, and then ventilation. Once the heat gets in there, you want it to get out as fast as possible. So sometimes people say, well, this attic space is so cold. That's good. We want it to be cold in the wintertime, so that that means that heat's getting out.
Right. So the materials not only on top of the roof, but within the roof, the stuff underneath the shingles, obviously very important. And you mentioned the education that you did before you actually had the business. So what's the type of education that just the run-of-the-mill person like me would need to know about?
So a lot of that stuff can be covered. If you follow along on our Facebook, I mean, that's our primary way to educate customers is through our Facebook page, because it's we can do videos, we can do posts, and show real life examples of what the correct way is and what the incorrect way and how that causes damage. So there's numerous different things. The biggest thing for a customer when trying to, because you're not going to perform the work yourself, you just want to know,
Right.
so you can select a person that is going to perform the work correctly. So the biggest thing I think to start with as a customer is when you're calling other contractors is make sure that their estimate is broke down.
Okay.
That it's not just several line items and a price. We want several line items and everything that's being installed on that roof and descriptions of why, and be able to ask those questions, and they should be able to answer them. Why are we doing this? How does this pertain to code manufacturer instructions on my home? That's a word that could be asked about every single line item.
Right.
How does this apply? And then they should be able to answer that.
Are there certifications required for your guys?
Yeah. So for my crew in particular,
To be
a
a
roofer.
legally, to be a roofer.
Yep. So on the Illinois side there is. In Missouri and Iowa, it's not.
Okay.
So in Illinois, you're required to have a license. You are required to have insurances in those other states, but you don't have to. You're not required to have proof of those to operate. Whereas in Illinois, you're required to have a license, and that license requires you to have certain minimums for work comp and general liability insurance. It also requires you to have a bond through the state. So,
how does solar affect what you guys do?
So there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages, I feel like, to solar. So sometimes people talk about warranty. Does it affect the warranty? I can't speak for every manufacturer, but the manufacturer that we utilize and that we have a relationship with is Owens Corning.
Right.
And nothing voids their warranty. However, if there's something that causes a failure outside of manufacturer instructions or craftsmanship, they're not going to cover that. I mean, if you manufacture a shingle and somebody screwed a 1/4-inch lag bolt through your shingle, you wouldn't warranty it if it
It's
leaked,
like anything else, right.
But if there was a leak next to it that was just due to a granule loss or a manufacturer defect tearing due to expansion and contraction, even though the solar panels here, if there's no link between those two, they would cover that. That being said, solar, from what I'm gathering and listening to other solar companies, is warranted against leak. Like the solar installation is warranted against leaks, so the solar company does this for 10 years. Whereas in like the warranty that we offer is a 50-year non-prorated warranty for materials and labor in the event of a manufacturer defect. So that substantially lessens that warranty in those areas.
Okay.
So there would be a fear there. A huge advantage is if you incorporate solar with your roof replacement, the areas of the roof that are tied in with that solar are available for that tax credit in Illinois. Tax credit's 30%.
Right.
So if let's say that you have a $20,000 roof replacement and 10 grand of that is related to solar panels, like half your house is going to have solar panels, you're going to get a $3,000 tax credit back on the roofing portion. So basically you're getting a $3,000 discount just on the roof, not to mention the solar panels. So that's a huge advantage.
So under normal conditions, how long should your roof last?
I think around 25 to 30 years
All right.
if appropriately ventilated and appropriately installed.
Okay. And how many crews do you have?
Depends on the type of crew. So we have one roofing crew, one repair roofing crew, gutter crew, and then we subcontract some other things when we have additions and stuff like that.
A guy like me, again, could you do like regular maintenance on your roof? I'm not going up there though, but is there?
Yeah. So
are there certain things we should be looking at?
So I always say sealant is used to aid in flashing, not be flashing. So exposed nails are natural. They're part of manufacturer instructions to have an exposed nail, and you have to seal exposed nails. That sealant lasts 5 to 10 years, so inspecting those aspects. Other than that, you don't want to spend a lot of time on your roof. You want to make sure your gutters are cleaned out because the more time you spend up there, the more opportunity you have to damage the shingles, especially as they get older.
How does Santa fit into that, though? Do you do Santa damage?
So
have you come across that?
He has special shoes.
He does.
That protects the roof system when he's on it.
All right,
so he's kind of magical. He can do those things. So
thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, thanks, Ron.
All right, Ryan Melton, Right Rate Roofing. This has been the Business Spotlight, brought to you by Mercantile Bank.
Your financial needs aren't independent of each other, so your financial advisors shouldn't be either. At Mercantile Bank, our experienced United Wealth professionals are united to serve you and your complete financial planning and wealth management needs. Are you just starting your investment journey or need to roll over a retirement plan? Do you need to plan for a loved one with special needs or for your own life after work? Maybe your business needs a succession plan or you want to enhance your employee benefit programs. Whatever steps you need to take, our United Wealth experts are ready to take them with you. Together, we are united.